There has been zero chemistry, sexual tension, kissing, nothing. Nothing. That was so cute! Oh my god, they're kissing! Nobody cares that she is some boneless catwoman. Hello you guys, welcome to my April arc vlog. So in this video I will be reading all of the arcs that I currently have either on my Kindle/iPad or the arcs that I have physically. Those arcs include Where Dreams Descend by Janella Angelis. This is pitched as a Moulin Rouge meets Phantom of the Opera meets the Night Circus. From the description, it looks like our main character is this showgirl, and she has this dream of being like the greatest show magician, and I have been told that there is quite a fun magic system in here and that it is very atmospheric. I am very excited for this one, and this cover is absolutely stunning. Definitely one of my favorite covers of 2020, and it's published by Wednesday Books, and I pretty much enjoy everything that Wednesday Books publish, if not absolutely fall in love with it. So I have very high hopes for this, and I hope it does not disappoint. And then I also have Court of Miracles by Kester Grant. This is another YA fantasy, and it is Jungle Book meets Les Mis. I really don't know anything else more than that, so I will definitely be giving more updates as I go along and a better description for you all. And then I also have The Dark Tide. This, again, I really don't know anything about it. I just know that it is a female YA fantasy, and like the cover has the dark tide, so I'm assuming has something to do with water, which we all know is my jam. I love any setting having to do with the ocean, the sea, water, live for that shit. So I also have pretty high hopes for this one. I don't necessarily know why, because I haven't heard any reviews for this book, but like, when have women ever let me down? Let's be real here. And speaking of women, I also have something to talk about by Meryl Wilsner. This one I have actually started and I am 30% into. This is a female romance between a very famous Hollywood producer, writer, actress, and her assistant, and it's kind of a very slow burn romance as they got caught in kind of a compromising situation on the red carpet, and now the tabloids all think that they're dating. And I'm not enjoying it, but it is very slow burn for my taste. I at least need some sexual tension. I need some flirting with slow burn. I need something, and there really hasn't been any kind of romantic tension between our main characters. I mean, there's a little bit because our assistant character, she has definitely like thought and vocalized that she has a crush on her boss, but I just don't believe it, and I haven't really sensed any chemistry between them, which is a shame because I am literally envisioning the boss as an older Alyssa Silos. I don't know if that's her actual name, but basically the artist who always goes viral on Twitter, and she always like travels the world and stuff. I'm envisioning her just as an older woman because our main character, there's kind of an age gap romance, which again I really love. So I thought that this was gonna be like a lot steamier, and I was hoping it would be a lot steamier, but so far, as is the case with a lot of kind of female romances that I've read, it is very lackluster and not very steamy at all. I mean, granted, I'm only 30% into it, so I'm sure it will get there, but I'm really disappointed that I don't feel anything between the characters in a romance story. You know, you feel me? Also, our assistant character calls Joe boss every 5 minutes. The only person that I hear call people boss is my 45-year-old father, and I just don't buy that this young 20-year-old chick is just calling her boss all the time. I don't know, maybe that's just a weird thing that's irritating me, but I don't like it, and it's so annoying. So I'm reading Something to Talk About, and it is so irritating because Emma, who is our assistant character, is mad at her sister for not telling her that she invited Joe to go to her kids' like baseball game, because I don't know, they somehow like became friends. I think because Emma's sister owns a bakery and Joe helped her out with her bakery and stuff like that. So like they became friends and whatever. And Emma got all upset and hurt that she didn't tell her that she was friends with Joe. And it's like, why are you that upset? Like, why does it even matter? It just does not make any sense, and I don't enjoy this book really at all. So that's fun. Tell me why Emma literally just said that she deserves better and she deserves to be treated better. For what? For what? Your sister and your boss having a friendship? What in the hell is happening right now? 70% into the book, into the female romance book, and there has been zero chemistry, sexual tension, kissing, fucking nothing. Nothing. Hello, you guys. So it has been a couple days since I've updated you, but I finished Something to Talk About by Meryl Wilsler, and I give it 2 out of 5 stars. I did not enjoy it at all. It is a slow burn romance, but honestly, it's more like a plateauing simmer. Because as I mentioned in the previous clips, I got 60% into the book and I still haven't felt any sexual tension, any chemistry whatsoever between our two main characters. I think the 70% mark is when they finally kiss, and then the 80% mark is when they finally do the damn thing. And that wasn't even glorifying or worth the wait. So basically, I don't know why I read this, but it truly just lived up to nothing but disappointment. And it was only emphasized by the fact that I read another slow burn romance like right before this one that was actually good and actually had chemistry between the two people and still had that angsty like will they won't they while still, you know, having that chemistry. But this one, it just had nothing, and I never felt that they even liked each other. I didn't buy their relationship. I didn't like it. I hated our main character. See, I can't even remember her name. Was it Emma? It was Joe. Joe was the boss lady, and I think her name was Emma. See, I don't even know. Whoever her assistant was, she was so annoying and she was so entitled and naive. It really did not read like a romance to me. It did not give me any feelings or any giddiness or any rom-com-y feelings or any spiciness, or it just didn't deliver on anything. Unfortunately, because that one was a dud, I kind of want to pick something up that I have a really good feeling about. So I am going to start Where Dreams Descend, and I am so excited about this. I really hope I love this because I need a good atmospheric fantasy right now. That's just what I am jiving for. I just need to read the couple paragraphs on this first page real quick. So it says, only his face remained the same, half-masked and haunting, like a prince who relished the bloody crown on his head and the ghost that came with it. A face almost hardened by beauty, though glimpses of youth ran deep beneath soft black eyes. It almost shocked new guests to see him. The master of the house was rumored to be a dragon of a man, a monster, a magician who had no mercy for fools. Only those who dared slur the word boy in his face understood how true those rumors were. To the rest, he played the devil on all shoulders, leading patrons to his bar and game tables, guiding them towards the enchanted smoke lounge to drown in curated memories. The warmth of first love, the heady rush of triumph, the immense joy of dreams come true. The master kept a selection of sensations, and one hit of the pipes delivered magic the people came crawling to his house to taste. This is what I'm talking about. So I'm 50 pages into this and I am loving it so much. The writing is so atmospheric, which is exactly what I wanted from this book. There was also a plot twist in the first 50 pages, which I loved so much, and I'm just loving this so much. Y'all, I am freaking loving this book. I know I said a lot that this book is so atmospheric and immersive, but it truly is. It's so beautifully written, and not only that, but the plot is so interesting because we are following Kalia, our main character, as she is basically trying to become this grand performer magician, and so she's having to go through these kind of, not necessarily trials, but she's having to perform and having to beat out the other performers. And her as a character, she is so strong. She gives me such Celine vibes from The Beautiful. And in fact, this entire book just reminds me of Renee Audier because of how atmospheric it is and how beautifully written it is. Kalia is just such a strong main character. She knows her strengths. She knows her powers. She is very confident in herself, but it's not in an egotistical way or a vain way necessarily, because she's still very much aware of her fears and her insecurities. It's just we as readers are the only ones who get that insight into her insecurities, but everybody else just sees this facade that she puts on that isn't necessarily a facade, because she still thinks she's a bad bitch, you know? But I just love her so much. And our like love interest, who I assume is going to be our love interest, I love the chemistry between them, because it's not really enemies to lovers, it's not even rivals to lovers, it's kind of just like, I don't trust you, what's up with you, you are being too overconfident in yourselves and you're gonna get hurt kind of thing, and I just love it. And there's a hot villain in here, which we all know my Darkland loving ass loves me a hot villain, and this is just, it's freaking fantastic. It's so immersive, it's so beautiful. I get lost in it every single time I pick it up. I am having such a fun time with this, and I really just need to finish this so I can give more of my final thoughts. Y'all, just listen to this line. Until he found reason to move, he would simply sit with his thoughts, for the reason had not yet walked down the stairs. Oh my god! That was so fucking cute! So I have finally finished Where Dreams Descend, and wow, was this so incredible. I feel like I have repeated myself a lot when talking about this book, but it is just so decadent. This is like the literary embodiment of a red velvet cheesecake. It is so delicious, so rich, so mouth-watering delicious goodness. Like, that's just what it is. It's so beautifully written. It is literally The Night Circus if it had a plot, and it has the strongest protagonist I have ever read about, and she deals with so much shit. Kalia is a female magician. Women don't really get to be magicians. They only get to be labor magicians. They don't get to be entertainment or anything like that. And so of course she's in this magical competition filled with men, and everybody from the judges to the mayor of the town to the fellow contestants, everybody is just blaming her for things and judging her constantly, and she does not ever let it get to her. I definitely do think some people are going to think it's slow. It's definitely a very atmospheric book, but there's still the magical competition that keeps the plot going. But again, I'm sure there are still going to be some people that think it's a little slow. I personally loved it so much, even though it took me so long to read it. That's mainly just because I've been feeling a bit slumpy lately. I need the second book because it ends in a cliffhanger, and I need it now, and I just really loved this book. Definitely a 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was a really really great one. Hello, so I have been reading The Dark Tide by Elisa Jasinska, and I'm about 30% into it, and I am really enjoying it. So basically this takes place on an island where the queen has to sacrifice the person that she loves in order to keep the dark tide or the sea from flooding the city. And the island seems to be a safe haven for witches, and there is this festival where the islanders get to get magic from the witches, and it's during this festival that the queen chooses the man in which she will hopefully fall in love with and then sacrifice at the end of the full moon in May. And ever since the new queen has come into power, the sacrifices have not been working, and we are following this girl as her, not boyfriend, but the guy that she's really had this crush on all her life was chosen by the queen, and so she has stormed the palace in order to rescue him. And it kind of turns into like a Beauty and the Beast scenario where the queen is like, okay, if you sacrifice yourself, I'll let him go, and as well as your brother, because he went with her to the palace and all that stuff. And this does have a female romance, so you can imagine how the rest of the book is gonna go. It is very atmospheric. Like, the writing is beautiful. The atmosphere, as I said, it's atmospheric. It's on point. It's very descriptive, very aesthetically pleasing. Like, I can feel the brine and the salt and the cold sea setting, and I really enjoy it. Also, the palace is described as very decadent because it's just filled with these witches, and I really love that aspect a lot. It's giving me Three Dark Crown vibes. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have any complaints so far. Hello, so I am about 50% into The Dark Tide, and I'm really enjoying it. So first thing I want to say is this is incredibly atmospheric. And I know I said the same thing about Where Dreams Descend, so maybe this is just either a trend in the books that I'm excited about or just a trend in YA fantasy currently, but the way that this author is describing scenes, you know what? I'm just gonna read a few of these lines and show you how the author paints the picture of her world. So it says, bouquets of white mourning ribbons flooded from every chimney, every window, every wrist, from the red and white striped mourning posts lining the winding water roads, from the crumbling cupolas and rusted weather vanes jutting from the waves like broken teeth in the crescent curved harbor. That's just one sentence, and she goes on for like 2 full paragraphs just with descriptions of the setting and this island and the festivities that they are engaging in. I love it so much. I know that it is not a lot of people's cup of tea. A lot of people do not care about setting the stage, setting the setting, or anything like that, and they'd rather just get to the actual meat of the story. But I love descriptions, I love aesthetics, I love when the author can really create art with their words, and Alicia is doing that so well. And I will say that so far that is absolutely the highlight of this book, is the aesthetics, is the descriptions, is the writing style, because I'm not crazy about the plot or the pacing. It's not bad, and it's nothing that cannot be easily improved upon as Alicia publishes and writes more books, but it's definitely an issue. The plot, we're halfway through the book, and I'm not like 100% sure what's happening. I get the whole thing about our main character now being this sacrifice for this island, and the Witch Queen has to have a sacrifice in order to not have the ocean flood their island city. I do get all of that. It's the time frame between them discovering that she's going to be the sacrifice to the actual sacrifice, that I'm just like, what exactly are we doing here? What's going on? Despite that, I'm really not bothered that much by it. That being said, another really big positive of this book is the Witch Queen Eva. She is me. I am her. We are on the same page. She is an incredible pessimist. She is very confident in herself, and she's one of those people who is so independent that they really do not need or really understand the need for other people to not necessarily satisfy them, but just keep them grounded, give them validation, care for them, all of these things. Like, she asked herself, why did people not have the same love for themselves that they did for others? I ask myself that question so many times a week, a day. Like, it is always a question that is inside of my mind. And there's another instance where Lena, our main character, asks Eva, she's like, haven't you ever wanted that? Someone to tell you you're special? And Eva replies, why would I need someone to tell me what I already know? Bad bitch. I love it. I love it so much. Eva is also just so flirty, and she's one of those flirties where like she's kind of being antagonistic because she knows that Lena is a very reserved person and she knows that she would be affected by her words, and so that is amazing. The tension, it's glorious. I love it. There have been so many lines that I have highlighted in this book, and so I'm really enjoying it. They're kissing, they're kissing. Oh my god, they're kissing. Oh my god, they're kissing. So I finished The Dark Tide, and I just love women. It was so good. And I know right off the bat, this book is already out. It came out on June 2nd. I'm sorry you guys are getting this vlog late. I don't know why it took me so long, but regardless, it is out. You guys can read it now. And I feel like I'm going to be in more of a minority here because this book does have problems. Like I said, structurally it's not great. There are a lot of times where I'm like, where are we going with this? What's exactly happening right now? But the aesthetics are so good. It's so gay. It is so beautiful. Y'all saw when I was scrolling through my highlights, I highlighted so much of this book because it is so beautifully written. If you are like me and love aesthetics pretty much above all else, this is the book for you and you're gonna love it because it really delivers on that front. And also, if you are a character-driven reader, I also think it delivers on that front because Eva is... I loved Eva so much. She's our witch queen. I related to her so much. It is confirmed that it is a Cancer Capricorn romance, and it was just as chaotic as that sounds if you know anything about astrology. And I really loved Eva. I really connected to her so much. Lena, again, such a goddamn Cancer. Their romance is kind of hard to explain too. I don't want to say it's not developed. It's not insta-love, but they are very irritated with each other pretty much the whole thing. And I feel like the transition between irritation and love is not really there, but I didn't care at all when they finally kissed. In the back part, the analytical part of my mind, I was like, where the hell did this come from? But the gay forefront bisexual mind that is, let's be real, always superior and always front and center, was screaming. As y'all saw, I put it in the clip. So that's, again, something to note. This book has flaws. It does. It is not perfect, but I really enjoyed it, and I'm gonna give it 4 to 5 stars. So I just started A Court of Miracles, and I am about 20% into this, and I am not enjoying it at all, really. One thing is that it's written in first person present, which is a writing style that I really don't like at all. For the most part, I don't really notice it, but it seems that every single time a book is written in first person present, I immediately recognize it for what it is and immediately don't like it. It's just something about it, something about saying, I walk to, they tell me, we do this. It just, oh, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So that's one thing. Another thing is that it is so choppy and weird. Like, you're just thrown into the story and you don't know who these characters are. You don't know why they have these abilities. You don't know how they have these skills. You don't know anything about this city besides the huge chunk of info dumps that it gives you. And it's really unfortunate because I actually love the concept of this book. My ring light just died on me, but there are 9 different underground guilds in this kind of jungle Paris alternative France, and there's the Guild of Thieves and the Guild of Assassins, all kinds of different guilds, and they're all animal themed. So that's kind of where the Jungle Book influence comes into play, because it's basically pitched as Les Mis meets the Jungle Book, so that's kind of where it plays. And our main character is a cat for the Thieves Guild, and I guess cats are like the ones that steal at night and they jump rooftops and things like that. So it definitely has a really unique concept. It has really unique ideas. I just don't like how it's written and how those ideas are expressed. I know absolutely nothing about this girl, and I'm 30% into this book, and I'm just expected to believe that she is this great black cat of the Thieves Guild, because she is not going to let anybody forget that, because every single time she meets anybody in this goddamn book, she has to make that known. But I'm just supposed to believe that she can scale buildings, steal from these royal houses in like 2 paragraphs, and now steal people away from inescapable prisons in like 2 chapters? What is even this book? So this is how the chapter ended, and it says, I visited the assassins and survived. I visited the ghosts and rescued Saint Just. That's probably not how you pronounce it. I broke into the chalet and stole the dead lord. I freed a member of the Guild of Letters. I kept Eddie safe. I'm the black cat of the Thieves Guild, and these are the things I have done. She did all of that in legit 3 chapters. And she just did it. Like, she just did it. There's no explanation of how she did that. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand how she's just doing these things. It's not computing. I don't understand. She's like all powerful, legit, like all powerful, because there's no other way that somebody can just do all this 3 chapters with no plan, just walking into the prison, letting all the prison cells open and freeing everybody. Just, where are the logistics? So I finished The Court of Miracles. This was not good. I think I'm gonna give it 2 stars. It probably deserves a 1, but I feel like that's a little cruel, especially because this is a debut. I'm gonna give it a 2. That might be a little generous. In fact, it is very generous, but that's just what's gonna happen. I liked the concept. So it has like all of the different guilds and stuff, and like that is so cool to me, and the concept was so cool, and I liked the kind of animal theme to all of the guilds and the incorporation of, like I said, that kind of Jungle Book aspect. I liked the idea of this alternative France. It was just such lost opportunity. Just because of how the story was structured and her main character. I know that this book is compared a lot to Six of Crows, which is just invalid. Stop comparing shit to Six of Crows. Society has progressed past the need to compare everything to a Leigh Bardugo book. That being said, it makes sense because our main character is just as omnipotent as Kaz Brekker is. Like, if you were annoyed by the fact that Kaz Brekker somehow was like this overpowered god and just could do everything and know everything, this is like 1,000 times worse because you don't even get the backstory or even any explanation for how this main character, how Nina got to acquire all of the skills that she has. Like, even in the very beginning, so she is the daughter of one of the thieves in the Thieves Guild, and so it was touched on a little bit at the very beginning that her father taught her a little bit of stuff and she went on jobs with her dad in the past. Makes sense. But also, right after saying that, she also says that, like, oh, but he never taught me how to scale buildings or, like, break into, like, crazy fortified places or anything like that. So, I don't understand how in the second chapter, maybe it was the third chapter, either way, she literally broke into this royal guy's palace, house, mansion, whatever, just like basically just came into the window and stole a necklace from him as he was sleeping that was like one of the crown jewels of France, and then she just dipped. Like, what? And then to top it all off, that dude was like at like the very end of the book was like, oh my god, I was waiting for you every day and every night for the past like 5 years or however long time passed. I forget if it was 2 or 5 years. And I'm just like, what? I mean, if a hot-ass woman came into my room and stole a crown jewel from me, I would probably think about her all the time as well, but it was still weird, you know? And then, like I said, she, like, broke into one of the most inescapable prisons, and she did it in, like, 2 to 3 chapters, like, nothing. Like, she, like, literally just went in there with a lockpick and unlocked all of the jail cells, so all of the prisoners just came out. And I'm just sitting here like, okay, so did the failed revolution somehow defund any security or literally everything because she was just walking into places? Another thing, oh my god, I'm just gonna keep going. At the very beginning of the book, once you get the guilds and stuff, it also talks about the laws of the guild, and it's said multiple times that if you go into a guild, like if you go into the place of the guild uninvited, you will be killed. Like, straight up, you will either be killed or limbs will be taken from you. Just extreme measures. And this bitch just walked in to multiple places uninvited, and as soon as she got there, she was like, I'm the Black Cat of the Thieves Guild. Like, that is all I know about this character, is that she is the Black Cat of the Thieves Guild because she never lets you forget it. One, I don't know what that means. That doesn't mean anything to me. And two, who cares? I don't. Do you? No, you don't, because you're just watching me rant about this book and you likely have never even read it. So nobody cares that she is some boneless catwoman, okay? I don't want it. I don't need it. And also, the whole plot of this book was just her trying to look for her birth sister at the first, like, 10% of the book. And then she finds this other sister that she calls her sister. I don't think she's her actual sister. And then she was trying to rescue that sister and make another guild, the Guild of the Flesh. She was having to convince him to make her one of their members so that she wasn't going to be sold to this big bad guy. And then afterwards, she's trying to steal something in order to buy back her birth sister that we were trying to rescue in the first 10%. I don't know who this book is for, but it's not me. But it's still unfortunate because I really liked the concept and I thought it was a really cool idea. I just could not get behind this at all. It will likely be one of my worst reads of the year, unfortunately. What a negative note to end this video on, but alas, we are done. We have finished. This is the end of my ARC vlog, and all of the books are out, so I kind of dropped the ball on this, except Where Dreams Descend is not out. Where Dreams Descend is out on August 25th. Overall, I had 2 negative reviews, so Something to Talk About, which was a 2-star. Honestly, that one's probably like a 1.5 if we're being honest. Then Court of Miracles, of course, is like a 1-star. But I had The Dark Tide and Where Dreams Descend in this vlog as well, and I loved those 2 books. So they cancel out. Let me know any of your thoughts down below, but that's gonna do it for this video, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye!